All right, welcome into high school football here on Varsity Chalk Talk. Week number 3 of the high school football season is about to hit us here. David Ramnarine is your host here, along with John Boehm and Andy Jardy. And John Boehm is from the Lorain Morning Journal, along with Andy Jardy, who is with Fox Sports Ohio and WMFD. You can see him each and every week hosting the high school football show down in Mansfield. There you go. Like I said, my name is David Ramnarine. We are here for week number 3 of high school football here at the Hooley House in Westlake. 24940 Sperry Drive is the address. onefunpub.com is the website. We are here each and every Monday night for high school football as we sit here on top of the stage here at the Hooley House. Not a bad seat in the house, Andy Jardy. Plenty of televisions here to watch the Indians, the Browns coming up here on Sunday. High school football, I'm sure, is going to be on one of these screens at some point around here on a Friday night or Saturday night, but everything's on here.
Yeah, not a bad seat in the house, and we got a good crowd on hand tonight. I'm excited.
Yeah, for a holiday.
Yeah.
You can't beat that. If you want to join us here on Monday nights, we are here live, like we said. You can join us on the podcast on SoundCloud.com from Tuesday to the next Monday, but join us on the live show here. You have a good time. Of course, a lot of great food, great atmosphere here at the Hooley House as we kick off the high school football season. Andy, a lot of surprises so far in the house tonight. I'm excited. Let's get to it. We've got Avon. We've got Elyria Catholic in the house. They brought a big crowd tonight. Bay is here as well. We always love to have the Bay Rockets here. And, of course, the Avon Lake Shoremen are in the house. Finally, we get the Avon Lake folks here.
Yeah, and I think there's some kind of game this week too between maybe Avon and Avon Lake. I think that's happening this week. Not sure, but that should be fun.
That sounds about right, Andy. And you know that's always a good game, good rivalry game, good classic down the street rivalry game. There's nothing wrong with those games.
And I love a game that has a trophy involved.
Yes. You want to remind everyone what the name of that trophy is?
No, I was hoping you would remind me.
It's a silver rail, man. Silver rail.
I can't wait, though. That should be a lot of fun. And we've got Elyria Catholic here who's off to a 2-0 start. Bay off to a 2-0 start. Everyone here is undefeated.
Everyone here is undefeated. Speaking of undefeated and being 2-0, how about 0-2, the Midview Middies? When was the last time the Middies not only were 0-2 but lost 2 in a row, John?
It's been a while. That's a solid program, and that team itself is still a solid team. They will make the adjustments and come back here. I think they're just they're struggling a bit in the running game right now. That's what's been killing them, but they will figure that out. I have the utmost respect and appreciation for what Coach DJ Shaw does over there, and he'll get it put together. I know he will.
And we didn't have you last week, but we brought up this question too. At the time, Eds and Ignatius were both 0-1. They're now both 0-2. When is the last time that has happened?
Never, maybe. I mean, that's, you know what, I'm going to say big shout out to Menor on that one, because that is a tough start to the season. They did not shy away from that schedule, and they proved they are ready to make a little splash again this year like they did last year. All right. Graham is I don't know what he's doing over here, so we're just going to keep on talking.
I'll tell you what I'm doing. I got a fantasy draft going, my brother, and you boys are going to have to chime in here. I just picked up Cam Newton here in the 3rd round. I got another pick coming.
Oh, boy.
And real quick, Larry Fitzgerald, Zach Ertz, T.Y. Hilton, Juju Smith-Schuster, Armani Cooper, Golden State. Who you guys want me to take here?
Is that Golden Tate or Golden State?
Golden Tate.
Oh, that's a big difference.
Yeah, big difference. Big difference. One's playing for Detroit. I got 27 seconds, Andy. You got to come up with something. How about Jarvis Landry? How about Juice,
There
man?
you go. Bless him. Take him.
You think so?
Sure.
You know what? I got a feeling there's no – you're just throwing names out here now, but I'm going to take them. This is the Andy Jardy pick right here.
There you go. You won't regret it.
Jarvis Landry.
Fantastic.
4th round. All right?
All right, good.
Well, let's get right to it. Like you said, last week you were missing here, John, but we had a pretty good show. This week we got a packed house for a holiday. I'm very surprised and thankful that the folks came out on a holiday to talk a little high school football. Here on Varsity Chalk Talk, we talk high school football each and every week. Over in Menor on Reynolds Road at the Hooley House there, Billy Tilton is there talking high school football for the East Siders. Then tomorrow night he will be in Brooklyn talking high school football with those guys on the south side of town and the near west side. So that should be a good show in Brooklyn if you're looking to join Billy Tilton for the live show. Let's get right to it. Who you guys want to bring up first?
Who you feeling, Andy? Who you feeling? Should we get let's get Avon up here first. If Avon's ready.
The Eagles.
Up,
the Eagles are here each and every week, so they are first up on the list. I'm sure they've ordered their food already. These guys usually come in, get their food order in. They know the routine and come up here and don the stage for us and talk a little high school football. By that time, their food will be ready. And they are off to a 2-0 start so far as they took care of Olmsted Falls in good fashion, 52-14. And boy, oh boy, the train just keeps rolling for Avon, right, Johnny?
Yeah, I mean, it's Avon. You know what you're going to get with Avon. It's going to be a solid team across the board. They're always going to be ready for whatever opponent might be up next on their schedule. So are they? They're 2-0. Am I surprised? No, because that's just what they know how to do. They know how to win. And we're still getting them all up here on the stage. So, Ram, I'm going to ask you really quick here. 52-14 over Olmsted Falls. Is that how you saw that game necessarily going?
Absolutely not. You know that Olmsted Falls loves to run that football, and obviously they couldn't control the ground game like that. And for some reason, I don't know if it was Channel 3. We had that as the game of the week, and they had Olmsted Falls. Must have been a misprint. They had Olmsted Falls winning in that game early on, but this one was handled pretty easily by Avon. They're not playing around, Andy.
No, they're not. And they were challenged in week 1 against Bookville. We talked about that last week and how that game probably benefited them going forward. And you jump right into SWC play against Olmsted Falls, who's no pushover. And yeah, they're not. They were not kidding around in that game. They got out to the early lead and never really looked back.
All right, let's get the kids in here, the folks, the coach in here. Avon Eagles are on the stage. Andy, take us through it here. Let's find out who we have from the Eagles tonight.
Sure thing. I'm just going to pass the mic down, introduce yourself, and what position you play.
I'm Zach Rimko. I'm a senior D lineman.
Jack Rash, senior defensive end.
I'm Brandon Schaefer. I'm a senior defensive end as well.
And I'm Jared Schetti. I'm a defensive line coach and defense coordinator.
All right, Coach, I'm going to have you hold on to the microphone down there really quick. You said you're a defensive line coach, correct?
Yes.
So when you take a team like Olmsted Falls, you know they're going to run the ball hard. What did you guys do to prepare and really shut down that run game?
They have a very tricky offense to play. It's really tough to go from playing our offense all camp and then going to see a team that's a triple option team. It's a big change up for our kids, and our kids did a really nice job of basically forgetting every single technique that they learned throughout camp and changing it a little bit and tweaking it a little bit and being able to play a very physical football team and play fast and downhill to stop their really good run game.
That's a Olmsted Falls team there that had put up 50, 60-some points in week 1. What overall were you guys doing so well that just really shut them down? And
realistically, we always talk about playing and doing our job and playing our assignment. When you play a triple option team, that's what it's about. Everybody has one responsibility, and keeping those guys on those responsibility and holding them accountable to do their job is realistically how you have to attack that triple option. And if one guy doesn't do their job because they're trying to overcompensate for something or someone else, that's when they gas you and they take it 10, 20, 30 yards. And then realistically, if you don't have a fast guy chasing it down, at the triple option can go the distance at any time.
How tough is it to prepare for a team in such a short week that runs a triple option like that?
Yeah, it's very tough. We actually got lucky because we played on Thursday night, our first game,
right. So
we had an extra day to prepare for them, which was really nice. We actually got our scout team really involved and taught them really how to run it, the triple option really well, and they did a nice job preparing our number one defense to stop their attack. And in a short week, like I said, it's about watching film. It's about understanding the schemes and where they're trying to attack you and how to attack them. And that's realistically a triple option just causes so many different problems because you don't see it a lot.
Let's bring in the players now. What's it like going up against a triple option offense? Was that difficult to adjust to?
Yeah, it was pretty hard to just adjust and throw everything that you learned throughout camp just right out the window. But I know we stressed taking part in doing our 111th, so with that narrowed down, it was pretty easy to pick up on everything that they were doing and adjust when necessary.
Yeah, same question.
I think one of the major parts is what Coach Ketty said, is just trusting your brother. I mean, you got to do your job so he can do his, essentially. And especially on the D-line, we got to take up double teams, and we got to take on all these big guys so our linebackers can run free and do whatever they need to do. So when we see our linebackers having big stat games, that makes us feel a lot better.
You know, you guys start off your SWC play with a team like Olmsted Falls, who's been to the regional final the past 2 years, and it doesn't necessarily get easier from there. What does it mean to you guys to play in such a tough conference?
It's great because ultimately it's great competition. It gets us better. And so when we have good teams to go up against every week, we just kind of get forged with fire. And it gets us better and gets us ready for the next week ultimately, and whatever might come down the road in the postseason, whatever may come.
Anyone else on that one?
Yeah, I just think it's really good going up against teams that have such large capabilities of, doing big things against us, because, like he was saying, it always helps you to prepare. Going up against teams that are very talented week in and week out only makes you have to prepare that much harder, which our coaches obviously do very well with us because, we always come prepared, ready to go. And my main thing I've always realized is repetition. Like with me, I just go over the plays over and over in my head until game time. It's just like second nature.
When the offense is clicking as well as it was for you guys against Olmsted Falls, how much easier does it make your guys' job on the defensive line?
It's huge. It helps so much because, sitting there and having to, obviously it gets a little bit tiring going, over and over on defense. So when you get to get those little breaks here and there, it's honestly huge, especially when they're going 10, 12, 15 play drives. It's really important to get us those little bit of breaks because we just come out fresh with fresh legs.
What's it like playing for your defensive coach right next to you?
Oh, it's been awesome. He pushes us very, very hard, which actually has helped me become a much better player. I at first, my first couple years, I definitely struggled a little bit with attention, but he got on me, and it's definitely helped me in the long run. I finally am starting to come around this year.
Same question for you, too. What's it like playing for your coach?
I think Coach Aketi challenges us every day, mentally, physically. He pushes us to do our best, do what's best for the team, and I think that's essential as just to improve us as players on and off the field.
Having him double as our strength and conditioning coach, he kind of gets on us a lot harder than he would other people, and ultimately gets us better, gets us ready for the bigger guys that we're going to face. And like he said, he's testing us every single day, so we can either adapt or we can fall.
And the three of you are seniors, correct?
Yes.
Have you played together over the years? What's that been like, just coming up together and still playing together?
It's definitely an advantage because you grow up with these guys, you have bonds with them, and one of the most important things of having a successful team is having a good bond. And so having these guys with me, and I'm sure you guys would agree, it definitely boosts your confidence, and you make a big play and he's right there to celebrate with you. He makes a big play, you're right there to celebrate with him, and it just makes everyone feel a lot better.
I think having good bonds, is forming good positive brotherhoods. It's key. I think that's what we have. We have a bunch of farm boys basically that grew up together, and we played football together our entire lives, and it just makes winning all the better.
Yeah, I joined football technically a little bit late. Most of our guys started in like 3rd, 4th grade. I came in 6th, but they took me with open arms, and it's been a great experience ever since. And I would say we have a very tight-knit group of guys. We're all very close. We get along very well, which definitely gives us a competitive advantage on the field.
And, Coach, what's it like for you having these 3 seniors on the team and just having them be leaders out there?
For me, having these 3 guys, I know you guys don't know much about these 3, but these are some of the 3 hardest working kids that you'll ever meet. They all have great grades. They all care about each other. They play really hard for each other. And to coach these 3, and that's what motivates me to coach, because the hard work that they put in is I personally don't want to let them down because of the stuff that they've invested in our team, in our program, the trust that they put in me to get them in the right positions. So a lot to me is about doing things for other people, and I know these 3 guys would give their left arm to do anything for each other, So realistically, that's a pleasure, and it's fun, and it's just a exciting thing to do to be around these three because it's the camaraderie amongst them is really, really good.
You know, Coach, obviously rivalry game with Avon Lake up this week. You know, don't want you to give away any of the game plans, anything like that, but what are you seeing on tape that you guys need to focus on and key in on to be able to beat a team like them?
Oh, man. They have so I watch a lot of the offensive tape, but they have a really, really good offense. Their running game scares the crap out of us. They have a hard runner that runs over people, makes people miss, and when he gets in the open field, he can run away from people. Going with that, you know, with all good running backs is a good offensive line. Their offensive line moves people off the ball. Their assignment sound. They get to their blocks. They hold their blocks, and their running back capitalizes on it. And then they'll spread you out, and they'll make you guard everything. And if you don't guard everything, they'll take advantage of it. So we got our work cut out for us because they are a dynamic team that's going to cause us a lot of problems. And if we're not assignment sound and doing our jobs, they're gonna exploit us on the defensive side of the ball.
And then this one for the players here, to be a part of such a long-standing rivalry that's literally just across the railroad tracks from each other. What does that mean to you guys to be able to play in that type of a game, that type of an atmosphere?
Well, I mean, it's huge. I mean, this is the biggest game of the season. It's always the one that we have circled on our calendars. Unfortunately, for me, I won't be able to be in this one. Luckily, I mean, we don't know how long I'm going to be out for. It could just be a 4-week thing, so definitely sucks that had to happen before this game, but I'm going to keep moving forward.
I think that camaraderie is big. Being at Avon, everybody always wants to beat Avon. And frankly, I think Avon Lake's definitely a top opponent. They always are, always have a great team, a great unit. They're like replications of ourselves, except they're just a few miles across the tracks. So I think that camaraderie is a great thing to have, and I think it just fires guys up to do their best on Friday night.
It's exhilarating. There's a lot of tension, and blood's boiling. Something goes your way, something goes their way. I mean, the momentum changes frequently, and momentum is a huge thing in high school football especially. And so when it goes back and forth, I don't really know how to word this, but when it's going back and forth, it just makes you want to beat the guy in front of you even harder, and that's just one of the most important parts of the rivalry.
Does it feel like this week takes forever because you're just so excited to get to that game Friday?
Yes, it does.
You didn't have school today, right? So is there an extra buzz around or anything?
Yeah.
Or?
Early in the morning, 8 o'clock, 6:30 lifting, right?
Biggest key to victory, you think, for you guys this week?
You're an O lineman, you got to block to the echo of the whistle. You're a D lineman, you tackle someone, you got to drive them into the ground. You got to do everything you do with authority, essentially. And you just got to play harder than them, I guess. I don't.
Yeah. Biggest key to victory?
I think the biggest key that we need to focus on is being assignment sound, doing our 111th, and being the hammer, not the nail. It's a phrase over the urinal, but I think it's a pretty important phrase. That's what it takes. You got to be tougher than that guy across from you, and I think that will be the underlying factor that announces a victor and then a loser. So hopefully we end up on top, but we'll prepare until then.
Can you repeat it? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Just your biggest key to victory?
Oh, I mean, work ethic. I mean, it's all in. For the most part, it's effort. It's a mental game. Like it might not seem like it, but as you're out there, you get tired, and you can't let that get in your head. The main thing is to not almost like feel bad for yourself when you're on the field. You just got to keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, because you take one play off, you start feeling like, oh, I'm tired, I need water, this, that, the other. That they could cut you right up your gap and take a big gash in the defense and make a big play. So, yeah, it's definitely.
Well, usually these guys come up with this question, but I got to make you squirm a little bit. Last question for you guys: celebrity crush for you guys.
Oh, wow. If you guys have a first one, you give me a minute to think. Actually, Emily Ratajkowski. I don't know if you know who that is.
We're old.
We'll tell you
I'm
later,
old.
Dave.
You'll tell me later. All right, that's good. Next.
A
lot of thought going into
celebrity
this one.
crush. Guess Tina Clark.
That's another
And
one.
also Jennifer Aniston.
Now, the second one I know. You're going to tell me about Tina Clark here, John.
I think I couldn't come up with her name, but it was Jennifer Aniston. I think he heard me trying to come up with it with Schaefer, and he took it. So that's cool. That's cool.
All right, fellas. Well, we appreciate you guys coming out each and every week. We're joined by the Avon Eagles, 2-0 on the season. This week they take on the Shoremen of Avon Lake, who are also 2-0, and they're in the building as well. We appreciate you guys. Good luck for the rest of the season. And for your own safety, do not look ahead. Coach Elder is always watching. Don't look ahead. We know that up here. So give it up for the Avon Eagles here on Varsity Chalk Talk, week number 3 here on the high school football season. Thanks for joining us here at the Hooley House in Westlake. They are here each and every week. You want to check in with the Eagles, you can check in on Monday night. Good luck, gentlemen. You can check in on Monday night here at the Hooley House, 24940 Sperry Drive. And like I said, they are a staple here on the stage here at the Hooley House. While we're going, we've got Avon Lake in the house, Elyria Catholic, along with the Bay Rockets. Let's bring up the Rockets from Bay. They are, haven't seen them since last year, always an entertaining group from the Rockets.
Yeah,
and looking forward to talking to them.
The joys of Nick Best, Trey Pasota. I'm curious to see who we get this time around.
It's always fun having the Rockets on the show. I love it when they come up. They always bring a lot of guys. I love that fact that it's a full team effort that comes out. I love that for sure. Well, they are all up on the stage, so go ahead and introduce yourself, Coach Rutt, and then who you brought up with you.
Coach Ron Rutt. Francis Sherman.
Connor Shell. Logan Lemire.
All right, Coach. 2-0 on the year, off to a good start. You guys have snapped off a number of wins in a row here in the regular season, dating back to 2 seasons ago at this point. What does it mean to you that this program has been as successful as it has over the past few years?
I just enjoy the consistency of what we've been able to do. It's tough to go in and win week in and week out, and for our kids to be able to do that and focus in on the assignment of the week and take care of business that many weeks in a row is been a great feeling for us.
When we talked in the preseason, it wasn't quite as solid how the team was going to be this year. There was a lot of stuff you were replacing because you had a lot of 3-year starters that had graduated. What was it like kind of taking that team from last year and converting it into this year's team?
It was fun this year. We had a lot of guys step up at different positions. We moved some guys around. Ross Beverly is a kid who was a safety last year, and he's now playing outside linebacker and doing a great job for us. And a number of guys like that have kind of filled in different roles, and it's exciting to see them fly around out there and make plays.
One of the things that when people think of Bay Rocket football, they think run hard and defense. How do you like having a team that has a signature, I guess is the way to put it? How does that feel knowing that people know what to expect and they still aren't able to top you?
Yeah, it's great having that kind of a mindset. Our kids are confident in what we do, and especially last year, everyone in the stadium knew what was coming, and we were still able to execute our assignments. So it's a great way to play, and if you're having success with it, it's a great feeling.
And we've talked about him the last couple weeks, and anytime we mention Bay, we've had Nick Best, Trey Pasota kind of been the one-man show in the backfield. But this year you have more of like a three-headed monster in the backfield. Just talk a little bit about your running backs this year.
Yeah, Connor Shell is kind of a downhill but fast kid who can break off big runs for us, and he can run you over also. And then Andrew Vaverka's real shifty, and he just fights, though. He fights for every yard. I was talking to some people last week, and he just seems to always fall forward and get that extra yard or two at the end of each run.
And Connor, you switched from quarterback to running back this year, right? Was that difficult, or just talk a little bit about how that came about?
To me, it wasn't very difficult because as a quarterback, I kind of ran it a lot, so it was just kind of a good transition, pretty easy to go, and it's worked out pretty well so far.
What's harder, handing the ball off or getting the ball handed off to you?
It was a little difficult for me getting the ball handed to me because I had to remember what arm to put up, but I've gotten used to it after a while.
Let's bring in the other two guys here. 2-0 start. You guys got Fairview up here next. Just how has this start felt to you guys?
It's been kind of expected, just the culture that we've developed the last few years. Just go in, do your job, and win. And we're really looking forward to seeing what we can keep doing. Coaches harp on it week in and week out. Just keep doing our jobs and let the cards fall, I guess.
Just same question. Just how does it feel starting off 2-0, knowing that you guys have a lot of momentum behind you?
It's great to start off 2-0. It kind of gets a little weight off our shoulder, having expectations to come back just like we were last year. So it just kind of takes weight off our shoulder to keep doing what we're doing and keep it going.
A 31-14 win over University School in week 2. Getting to play that first home game, is there any other feeling, greater feeling than just being in front of your home crowd, especially because you guys have new turf this year, correct?
Yeah, it was great. The new turf felt really nice because last year's turf kind of felt like cement, so it was great to run on.
A little easier on the feet. You guys have won, I believe it's now 18 regular season games in a row. Does that mean anything to you, or is it just kind of a number that we like to talk about here?
I didn't really realize that. We just kind of take it game by game and see what happens, and it's happened really well for us so far.
How about the other two guys? Does it mean anything?
I mean, it's kind of cool to talk about and something we'll definitely talk about in 20 years or whatever, but right now it's kind of just going and win week in, week out.
What about you, Coach?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a great run, and it's kind of fun to look back and think about what we've done. But, our mindset's really just 1 week at a time, and each week we got a lot of film to break down and an opponent to prepare for, and that's kind of, been the deal for us. So you can't look too far ahead, otherwise, you might slip up in a game that you could otherwise win.
Well, speaking of not looking too far ahead, you guys get Fairview this week. What sort of challenges do they present for you?
They're a team that's going to keep themselves in a game. They're very smart in what they do. They like to run the football quite a bit. Actually, our offenses look fairly similar in a lot of ways. They play good defense. They've forced a lot of turnovers so far this year. So we're going to have to be on top of our game on Friday night for sure.
What have you been telling your team to make sure they don't overlook Fairview? Because, they're 0-2, but triple overtime loss and lost on the final play of the game. So it's a very thin line between 0-2 and 2-0 for them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, watching their games in full, they've had two of the most heartbreaking losses, I've probably ever seen in high school football games, and they've done it the first 2 weeks of the year. I'm sure they feel like they should be 2-0, and they very easily could be. I'm sure they're going to come in and be pretty fired up to try and get a win on Friday.
Does the game take any different significance this year, knowing that it's the last year before they join the Great Lakes Conference and become a conference rival?
Yeah, it's we've been in a conference with Fairview before, and a pretty familiar opponent to us. So I think it's going to be great to add them to the mix of the Great Lakes Conference, and I think they'll be a nice addition.
What's your take on the conference this year? Obviously, we've seen Elyria Catholic get off to the 2-0 start. Rocky River's always tough too. Just what's your overall thoughts on the Great Lakes Conference?
I think there's a lot of teams that are in the mix this year. If you look at what people have done so far, and I think it's going to be an exciting year. We've got a pretty balanced conference, lineup really, and week in and week out, I think there's a lot of games that could go either way. So it'll be exciting to see what happens.
And then we'll ask the players here real quick. Just biggest key to victory for you this week.
What's that?
Biggest key to victory for you this week.
Stopping the run on defense, definitely, I'd say.
I would just say executing our game plan soundly.
What was the question? Biggest key to win this week? Dominate the line of scrimmage.
All right, I'm not going to put the kids on the hot seat this time. I'm going to put you on the hot seat, Coach, but it might potentially embarrass these three, so it's always fun. I want you to give these three WWE nicknames.
WWE nicknames?
Yes.
I wish Coach Nybecker were here. He would be much better at this than I am. We'll go with Logan as Hulk Hogan. Connor's kind of like, what's that guy's name? The Rock. I'm going to go with the Ultimate Warrior. He's a competitor. And Francis, I don't know, Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
There we go. And then for the guys, Coach Rutt's nickname, what would that be?
WWE?
Yeah.
Here, Logan, you can start.
Here, you do it.
Is he?
Undertaker.
That's a good
Mr. Incredible.
There we go. All right. A couple of good ones.
I'll give him the Rock.
He's got the hair for the Rock. Huh? Coach Rutt and the gang from the Bay Rockets are here, 2-0 on the season. Always a great time having these guys up on the stage here at the Hooley House on Varsity Chalk Talk. Coach, thank you for coming out. Guys, thanks for taking time out of your day. We appreciate you taking time out of your holiday to join us. You're welcome here each and every week, and we really appreciate not only you coming here, but we appreciate you on Friday nights watching you play. It's outstanding to come out and watch you guys play, so thanks for coming on out.
Thank you for having us.
All right, the Bay Rockets here on Varsity Chalk Talk. Give it up for the Rockets as they are set to take on Fairview on Friday night. Coach? All right, 2 down, 2 to go here, Andy Jardy. We talked to the Avon Eagles, the Bay Rockets. Left are the Panthers, or the Green Wave, I should say. It's the Panthers, right? Yeah, I got that right. Who am I talking about, the Green Wave? That's holy name.
Yeah.
You know what? In our conference at VASJ, it's either the Green Wave or the Panthers, man. And we had to play Elyria Catholic, and they took us on this week. I got to bring up Elyria Catholic because they took on the VASJ Vikings and put a hurting on us this week. So let's bring up the Panthers from Elyria Catholic from EC. They were here early, and they are out in droves here. Is this the first time we've had EC on? This might be the first time we've had EC on here. Oh, great. Got some big boys coming up here on the stage. Panther football. All right, I got to say, you guys beat up on us 48-7. I'm a St. Joe's grad, coach at VASJ, so, it's all right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Take us through last week's game. Coach, introduce yourself, who you've got here on the stage, and then take us through last week's game.
All right, my name's Pat Ashcroft. I'm our O-line, offensive line coach and offensive coordinator, and I'll let these guys introduce themselves.
My name is Leighton Banjoff, number 44. I play running back and middle linebacker.
Cameron Inger, senior quarterback, number 4.
Griffin Davies, left tackle and defensive end.
All right, Coach, so just take us through the win here against VASJ. How did it feel going out there and really just being able to do what you guys wanted and get that victory and go 2-0?
Well, the whole week we had a great game plan on what we wanted to do. We put in a lot of hard work throughout the week of practice, and it just happened to all come together Friday night. We were able to execute in all 3 phases of the ball, and things just went really well for us. We were able to get out to a fast start again. I mean, we scored 28 points in the first quarter for the second week in a row, and, when you're able to do that, things just kind of go your way.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. 2 straight weeks now, you've scored 4 touchdowns in the first quarter. What is going on there? Is that a point of emphasis this year, or is it just clicking?
A little bit of both. We put a point of emphasis on it as a coaching staff that we want to go fast. We want to jump out on people. These guys do a great job every week with their film study and what we need to do with practice. They put everything together and enables us to pick a few things that we know we want to execute, and we're able to do so, and it's worked out these last 2 weeks.
A 2-0 start under a new head coach. How good of a feeling is that, knowing that you're able to get a new coach in there and not miss a beat at all? How good of a feeling is it knowing that you have a new coach, but you haven't missed a beat at all? You're starting 2-0, and it's been very convincing victories.
It's been fantastic. Coach Fox has come in and really established a great culture for this program, and the guys have really bought in, and that's the biggest thing. You have to get your players to buy into a system, and they've done that. They want to win, and they're putting in the work to do so.
Actually, I'll ask the same question to you guys. Having Coach Fox there, what's the difference between this year and last year? What kind of changes has he brought to the program?
Honestly, Coach Fox, he's super young, super energetic. During practice, I would say most of the time he's even more energetic than we are. I mean, we're working hard, but if we make a great play or somebody lays a big hit, he's the first one to run on the field, congratulate them, and say, let's do it again, So I really think that his energy and the rest of the coaches, honestly, just being fun and energetic really brings it out.
Yeah, I definitely agree with LB. Building on what he said, I mean, Coach Fox brought in a great strength program, a whole new offense, and really it was a new culture this year. It really changed everything, and we went in a completely different direction than we were last year. And also, it's like he has the energy of a 12-year-old, but and he's so young, but somehow I don't know, he's got some great intelligence, and I definitely love playing in his offense.
So there's all our staff. You could just sit down and talk to them just for hours on end if you really wanted to. And I think that's just one thing that's changed from last year. Like, I find myself after practice just chilling in the coach's office for 30 minutes to an hour.
What's the atmosphere around the team like this year? Is there more of an excitement or a buzz in the halls at school? Have you noticed?
I think as a team, we're definitely a lot more excited for everything, practice, games, and we just try to build off our energy into the games.
I definitely agree. I think we have a lot more fun this year than we did last year, not just because we're winning, but even at practice all summer in the liftings, I feel like there was a lot more leadership, and really it's just the energy that Coach Fox brings is kind of contagious, and the energy that our senior class is bringing has really basically fueled this year, and it's a good influence for the younger guys.
Same question. Just is there more of a buzz or an excitement around the team this year? Have you noticed?
I believe so. Just looking back last Friday night, our first opening game, we had a lot more people there. Just having all these people wanting us to do great this year has really made us happy, and we want to go out there and prove it. So.
Now, last week you had over 100 yards rushing, 2 TDs. What's been working so well for you so far this year?
I really think it's just our line, and I know they don't get all the glory half the time, but really we'd be nothing without our linemen. We have a very big line compared to years past, and they're very fast, very physical, so I think just having that great line has opened up a lot of gaps for me, a lot of holes, and I'm going to run as hard as I can every play, so as long as they're putting in the work and everything, I'll do the same. So,
you've had over 300 yards passing now in back-to-back weeks. What's been working so well for you this year?
Again, I really think it's the line for us with a huge change from last year. They got a lot bigger, a lot more talented, a lot more skilled. Also, though, we have 3 great backs that are running the ball, and that really opens up a lot for us because it's a lot for defenses to worry about. And when they stack the box, it makes it easy it's really easy reads for me.
You know, how much fun is it playing in this offense this year, especially one that's averaging 52 points a game so far? How much fun is it to be in this offense?
It really is a blast just going out there and having fun with your brothers by your side and just playing fast, playing physical, and putting up points quick.
I could tell you when running the ball, I don't even know if I'm getting the ball or not. So if I don't know if I'm getting the ball, I don't think the defense knows that we're running the ball. So just being so versatile and not knowing if I'm going to do a fake or get the ball and run hard, I think just keeping the defense on their toes and our fast style of play is really good. So.
Coach, going to bring you back in here.
Yeah.
You got Cleveland Central Catholic up next. Past couple of years, they've had your guys' number. What can you do to make sure that you get the win this year against them?
The biggest thing for us is our preparation during the week, making sure that we go 100% through our drills, through our team activities, and really we give a lot of credit to our scout team, our young guys that really aren't seeing the field on Friday night but giving us a ton of effort each and every practice really sets us up to be successful on Friday night. So, we feel that we have a great game plan going in for Friday. We feel that we can execute a lot of things and exploit some things that they do, so we're very confident.
And for the guys, key to victory against Cleveland Central Catholic?
I really think just coming out, practicing hard. We got to win it this week in practice, and the game will come for itself.
Really, just preparation, really, practicing hard, a lot of film study. I think that's most important, and I don't know much.
What was the question?
Just what's the key to victory over Cleveland Central Catholic?
Definitely just coming out at practice every day and giving it our all, and just watching film right before practice and figuring out what we got to work on before we go out.
And, first time up here, so we got to make sure we embarrass you guys a little bit. We asked it to Avon. I want your celebrity crushes.
Celebrity crush?
Yes, sir.
It's a tough one. I'd have to go with Kate Upton.
I like that.
I got to go with Summer Rae.
Okay.
Just 1 second. Probably Francisco Lindor's girlfriend. She's pretty nice. So.
All right. I see Andy nodding next to me, so. All right, well, we are up on stage with the Elyria Catholic Panthers, 2-0 on the year. They have Cleveland Central Catholic coming up at home on Friday. Thank you for coming out, Coach. Thank you guys for coming out. We love having first-time teams up here, and that's what you guys were. So we appreciate you guys coming out. We want to have you guys up as often as you guys can make it, so feel free to come on up and not be strangers. We appreciate you guys making it.
All right, thank you very much for having us.
Once again, that was the Elyria Catholic Panthers. Give it up for them.
Their food just came out, too. We had to wrap that up quick. I saw it coming out, and I was like, we can't keep them up here any longer.
There we go. There we go. Well, Ram, what you thinking?
I got results, baby. I got results from the fantasy draft.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Cam Newton, Jarvis Landry, Brandon Cooks, Pierre Garçon, Kareem Hunt, Leonard Fournette, David Njoku. On the bench, I got Drew Brees, Jared Goff, Benjamin Watson, Sterling Shepard. Jake Elliott's my kicker, and I got the Jacksonville D, baby.
You feeling good?
I'm feeling all right.
Okay, that's
I'm
all that
feeling
matters.
like every guy after the
Yeah.
draft.
Yeah.
Oh, we got the number one team.
Yeah.
You know how that goes.
Mhm.
Until week 2.
Yep.
All right, 3 down, 1 to go here on the Varsity Chalk Talk with Andy Jardy, John Boehm, and yours truly, David Ramnarine, here from Westlake, Ohio, here at the Hooley House, 24940 Sperry Drive. And the food's coming out, the drinks are here, and boy, oh boy, pretty soon the fire pit will be lit outside. Not today.
Oh,
because
you thought last week was
hot
bad.
Today, my goodness.
Oh, it's brutal.
These guys have got to be going through. Next, the next coach that comes up here, Avon Lake, that's still in the house here, the Shoreman. Come on up, fellas. They're still waiting on their food to arrive. They're 2-0 on the season. You got to ask these guys. Normally July and August, you've got the heat, and it subsides around late August. But, boy, we're right back into it. It's not giving up here. This heat is brutal. I know you go out, John, and cover these guys all the time, so it's got to be rough for you as a reporter. So for the coaches and the players, it's got to be rough as well. Welcome on the stage. Finally, we get the Shoreman from Avon Lake. First time we've had them up here in a very, very long time. Thank you for coming out. Not only today, but on a holiday, we get you out here, so we appreciate that. 2-0 on the season. Congratulations. Coach, introduce yourself and introduce who you've got up here on the stage with you.
Okay, I'm Coach Kostelnik. I'm the head football coach.
Ryan Beckman, O-line and D-line.
Connor Riggs. I'm a running back.
All right, we're going to start off with you, Connor. What did you have for dinner on Friday night, and where can I get some of that? Because you put up a performance for the ages.
Actually, I had a Subway meatball sub, so got that right after school. Then had a little oatmeal. And that was it.
I mean, I'm going to say I've had Subway meatball subs, and I think they just slow me down. So congratulations, man. You had a fantastic week.
Thank you.
Coach, let's bring you in here quick. 2-0 start. You guys have been kind of almost bringing back the old school Avon Lake running plays, hard running, strong defense type of play. What's this start meant to you?
Yeah, we've been playing exceptionally well. Getting after it. It's been nice to turn around and see Coach DeLugas with a huge smile on his face, getting back to Shoreman-style football, ground and pound, and running fast. And, we got to keep it rolling, though. Our conference, there's no off weeks, especially playing South this week. We got to fire on all cylinders, and we have been. We just got to continue to keep playing strong.
Now, you mentioned Coach DeLugas there. Obviously, you played for him. What's it like kind of stepping into his shoes now as the coach of the Shoreman?
Last year it was an experience. This year it's it's nicer to kind of calm down a little bit and relax. And he's always there. He's just a phone call away. So, it's great bouncing things off of him from time to time. And he's just such a great asset. And, I love Shoreman football and I love being here.
North Olmsted last week, you won 49-14. They have a strong player in Darren Anders, and you guys pretty much shut him down. What were you guys doing that allowed you to get such success, not only on offense but also on defense?
Defensively, we just, our goal is simple. We stay square, run to the football, and tackle. I mean, the way offenses are nowadays, that's got to be top priority. Stay square, run to the football, and tackle. And our goal was simple: get him in the backfield. Don't let him get started. He gets started. You see what he can do. I mean, he's tough to bring down, and he got us a couple times. and then offensively, our game plan was simple: just run the ball at them. Let's challenge them. And I'll tell you what, up front, our O-line stepped up to that challenge, and they did a great job. And Connor did the rest.
How good did it feel to avenge the North Olmsted loss from last year? How good did it feel to avenge the North Olmsted loss from last season?
Oh, that game's going to haunt me forever.
Yeah.
Three fumbles on the goal line is a tough way to go out. So it felt great. We had it marked on our calendar the entire time. We knew what we had to do, and our goal was to come out and show, hey, we've gotten better, and our kids have gotten better, and we've put the time in the offseason. I mean, the seniors have been fantastic in the offseason this year, leading our team, and now they're doing the same. So now that we're in the football season, they're doing the same. So it felt great, but again, it's next week up.
Yeah, talk a little bit about that senior leadership. You've got it at the quarterback position, the running back position. Just how important is that to the team to have those senior leaders at those positions?
Well, you got the age-old adage, you win with seniors, compete with juniors, and you're going to take a loss with a sophomore. So, having 9 returning starters on offense coming back and having some anchors back on defense, not necessarily having a ton of starters returning, but enough to anchor us down, and some of our seniors, like Beck over here, has been stepping up and playing D-line, and Noah Welsh, who's a returning starter, is also doing well, and Cabot and Barone. And Owen Callison on the up front of doing a fantastic job, and I'm sure I'm missing some couple guys there up front, but we've been playing pretty well up front. We got to continue to play well, and then the secondary continue to tackle well.
I'm going to bring you in here, sir. You said you played on the offensive line, correct?
Yep.
Is there any greater feeling than when you see Connor go through your hole and just take it all the way?
Not really. It's fun to watch. It's fun to watch him.
From your perspective on the line, what makes Connor such a good running back?
Keeps his shoulders square, and he just hits the hole quick, I guess.
And then Connor, for you, having a line that makes such big holes for you, that makes it easier on you, what does that mean to you?
It means everything, because there's no way I'd be where I am at this point without him. So,
if I told you heading into the game against North Olmsted you were going to have 4 touchdowns and 263 yards, would you have believed me if I told you that prior to the game?
Probably not. It's always in my mind, thinking about going out there having a good game, but I felt relaxed before, and I was just ready to go.
You guys have started off the year so well offensively. Is there anything you attribute that to, or is it just kind of worked?
I think we're definitely playing together this year. Last year, I don't know if it was just growing pains or what it was, but it's just flowing. So,
same question for you. Just the offense has clicked so far this year. Anything you attribute that to?
Just kind of our senior year, and everyone's kind of stepping up right now. And we've been together since like 4th grade, so the chemistry's there.
So you guys have played together from 4th grade on? Nice. That's pretty cool. This week, obviously, is the big rivalry game with Avon. Does this week feel like it takes forever? Are you just anticipating Friday, but it's still only Monday? Does it just feel like this week takes forever to get here?
Not really. For us, it's just kind of another week. I mean, it's a big game, but just got to prepare like it's another week.
What about for you, Coach? Does it seem to drag, or does it go like any other week?
No, I have a 10-month-old, so my weeks don't drag at all, actually. No, this week's exciting. I love rivalry week. It's a great time. It's great for the community. It's great for our team. It's great for South's team and their community. But we want to get back in the win column in that rivalry. It's been one-sided other than a playoff game over how many years now. So it's time to get back and get focused and execute the way we can execute, understand what their team is successful at. And Coach Elder's done a phenomenal job, and their coaching staff's done a phenomenal job building that confidence and building that I forget what the word I was looking for there, but we know what they're going to do,
sure, and
we know how they're going to do it. We need to match their intensity. We need to match. They have a way of getting a roll on you, and we need to weather that. We need to answer, and that's going to be the biggest thing on Friday night.
What makes that rivalry so special with Avon? What makes that rivalry so special?
Probably that there's only track separating us.
Right.
So obviously, like we were saying, Avon up next. What are the keys to victory? Obviously, they're sitting right there, so we don't want to give away the game plan, but what are some of the big keys that you guys are going to have to solve?
I think keys is just simple. Whatever team's going to get their run game rolling, opening up with their pass game is definitely going to be key on offense. Defensively, stay square, run a football tackle, slow their run game down, and be able to get off the field. Probably the biggest tell is going to be who gets off the field on third down. Who's successful. Last year, we were not successful defensively on third down. We couldn't get the ball back to our offense in any way, shape, or form. And then making sure our special teams are cleaned up. No easy ones on either side of the ball. We got to capitalize when they make a mistake, and I know they want to capitalize when we make a mistake.
All right, well, we are up here with the Avon Lake Shoremen. Last question I have for you guys. Nothing to do with Avon, nothing to do with high school football. Browns, give me what their record's going to be this year.
I'm the wrong person to ask this, so.
I'm hoping for like a 7-9, but I don't know. We got the roster for it, but we'll see.
Over 6 wins, for sure.
Tyrod Taylor or Baker Mayfield at quarterback?
Tyrod, more experience. I know Baker could definitely step in, but that's how a good quarterback becomes a good quarterback, by being behind another good starter. So,
what about for you?
I hope it's Tyrod. I think Tyrod's underrated, and I think Baker should sit under him for the whole year. Just kind of let him develop.
See, that's what I like to hear. They're smart, because the Browns haven't done this for years. They just throw a kid out there and he gets destroyed. But I'm with you on that one. But thanks so much for joining us tonight, guys. Avon Lake out here. Big game with Avon this week. We'll be watching. And thanks for coming out. We hope to have you guys every week. And good luck this week. Let's give it up for the Avon Lake Shoremen.
Thank you.
All right, fellas. Finally, the Avon Lake Shoremen are in the house. It's been a long time, and boy, I didn't think we'd get them out on a holiday, but it's great to have them. That's going to be a good game. So I got a feeling you're going to be there, Johnny, this week?
Unfortunately, no. I will be in the office doing the layout duties as it's a holiday week, so I had to give our main layout guy another day off somewhere down the line. It just happened to be Friday, so it is what it is. I like doing the desk stuff, too, because it's always fun tracking all the games at one time on Twitter, seeing how they're all unfolding in front of my eyes.
Give us a typical Friday night for you at the Lorraine Morning Journal. What's the deal?
Like when I'm doing layout or when I'm covering something? Okay.
The games start at 7:30. Around that time. What's your pregame?
I mean, it's kind of funny because typically on a Friday we'll have roughly 5 pages, sometimes 6 to do, and over half them are devoted to high school football games and whatnot. So 7 o'clock rolls around and I've gotten 2 pages done, maybe 1 story on the front, and that's it. I'm not having anything on my pages really until 10, 11 o'clock with an 11:45 deadline. So it's really weird. It's unlike any other layout day where I can pace myself. I have from 7 till roughly 9 o'clock where I'm not actually doing anything. I'm just watching the games on Twitter, seeing what I can maybe hear on the radio, kind of stuff.
That's where I'm going. What are you doing in the office? Are you watching you're watching the Twitter feed, or you listen to the radio? What are you doing?
A little bit of both. Typically I'll be the guy who's on Twitter just retweeting as many scoring plays as I see scroll across. I kind of try and keep a little bit of a running scoreboard on a piece of paper in front of me. That way I can tweet halftime updates, that kind of stuff. And then we have WOBL and WDLW in Lorraine County, along with WEOL, that all broadcast a game. So I will have those feeds pulled up, obviously not listening to them at the same time because that would be just pure anarchy at that point. But, it's a nice way to just kind of keep up with the pace of the game and know what's going on. So it's not my most enjoyable time being out there doing layout shifts on a Friday night. I'd much rather be at a game, but it's a different perspective, and I do enjoy it.
Yeah, and we actually were interacting on Twitter this past week because him and I were both looking for a score to one game because John and I have everything John described is basically what I'm also doing on Friday nights.
That's my next question is, what are you doing?
I'm in the studio. We have our game that's live to tape because you can't air it live when it happens or something, so it'll air at midnight after our show. But
are you waiting on standby to go on ESPN and breaking news? Or?
Totally.
Oh,
no,
okay.
That's not it at all. But no, I'm just sitting there. I've got our game feed on. I'm watching it, and then I'm refreshing Twitter all the time and tweeting at random people that are at games asking for scores because some of those schools, they're out there, and if no one's covering them, it's tough to get anything out from them.
It's amazing how football has changed. High school football has changed in the state of Ohio. I'm sure it's happening all over the country, where we used to, wait on the scoreboard or the press box to call you at the radio station or at the newspaper to give the scores. Now all you have to do is look on Twitter, and I'm telling you, folks are at the game. They're tweeting out pictures, they're tweeting out video. Facebook is the same way. So it's really, really changed. And in my opinion, it's gotten a lot easier for the broadcaster and for the newspaper reporter for you guys to get scores. So. Yeah, the only issue I've ran into is sometimes you just get the score, but you don't know who did what. And there's sometimes there was a school this past week I was following. You can't have it all, Andy. No, you can't. Beggars can't be choosers, I understand. But there was a school, their official account was tweeting out the wrong score. And it's just, it always helps just to talk to somebody, too. Yeah. And sometimes we still get people that will call from the press box into the station and give the final. Back in the old days at WELW, 1330 AM, we used to do games, and they still do games. They were started WDLW. And we would have a list of telephone numbers for all the press boxes in Lake County and eastern Cuyahoga County, and we would be calling all night long. Alan Parrish, he's probably still doing it on Friday night, so I'll have to get over there and check old Alan Parrish out at WELW. Well, folks, we have had an outstanding holiday here. Happy Labor Day to everyone out here. Thanks to all the teams that came out, Avon Lake, Elyria Catholic, Bay, and, of course, Avon, who's here each and every week. We appreciate you guys for coming on out. Week 3 of the high school football season is here already. We say it every year, Andy. It goes by so quick. It does, and after next week we'll have the first playoff rankings? Is that too crazy to start talking about that already?
In a way, it's not, though.
I know.
Because there is a lot, especially in Northeast Ohio, there are some really good teams that are going to be vying for just the 8 spots in their region, and there's going to be some good ones that get left out. So
yeah, and there's a lot of good teams that are 0-2. It'll be interesting to see if they can start making that push, because they're going to start running out of time before you know it.
For sure.
Well, Bram's happy. He had a good draft. So
yeah, I had a good draft. We had a good show. Folks, make sure you join us on SoundCloud. We will tweet out and send out on Facebook the link for tonight's show and each and every show on Varsity Chalk Talk. Of course, you can hear Billy Tilton out in Mentor at the Hooley House on Reynolds Road on Monday nights. And on Tuesday nights, he is in Brooklyn. And wow, someone's dinner went by the wayside.
You said SoundCloud. It's also going to be on YouTube, according to Billy Tilton. So
all right.
2 options for you.
YouTube and SoundCloud is where you can hear tonight's broadcast and each and every broadcast here on Varsity Chalk Talk. So for my partners, Andy Jardy and John Bain, my name is David Ramnerine. Thanks, folks, for joining us tonight and each and every week. We'll see you right back here talking high school football. Next week, we'll talk Week 4 here on Varsity Chalk Talk. Have a good night, everyone.